For this lesson, I've included a special version of Robin's website, so make sure you load that one in as we go through the site setup process. And let's do site setup using the Files menu this time. Use the little arrow here, and notice too that as you define sites in Dreamweaver, Dreamweaver saves them in the Files panel so that you can switch from one site to another by simply selecting it over here. To create a new one, just choose Manage Sites, New, Site, and let's call this Robin-CSS. We'll find the local root folder. This will be in your project files in Part 1 in Lesson 6, and it's called Robin-CSS. It's almost exactly the same site we used in the previous lesson, but there are a few special files in here, so make sure you use this version. While we're at it, let's select the Images folder. You can add an HTTP address if you want. robineschner.com is the actual address, but since we're just going to be working locally, I'll skip that for now. Click Done, and you see it drops right into the Files panel. We're going to be working on a page in the Berry folder, so let's start by opening the index page in Berry. In this lesson, we'll spend some time studying how this page was created, and we'll also create a simpler version of this page together. We're also going to use external style sheets in this lesson, which can be attached to any or all of the pages in your website. But before we do, I want to start by taking a little time to talk some more about how CSS layouts work in general. In the CSS layouts we're creating throughout this series, I'm using something called the box model. Essentially, we're creating boxes for our content, and we're using what are known as block-level elements to do so. Block-level elements are things like div tags. You see, surrounding this content is a div tag. That's a block-level element, and you can think of it as a container for my text. Paragraph tags are also block-level elements. The p tag that surrounds this text can also be seen as a container for that text. Similarly, ordered and unordered lists, like I've used here for these paintings, or I've used here for the list of navigation elements. These are also considered block-level elements. Think of block-level elements as containers that wrap around content or contained content, and then imagine that you can use CSS to change the display of that content by changing the style of the container. That's a lot of what we're doing as we're creating styles for divs. We're defining styles and applying those to a container to control the display of the content within that container.